V. It contains strong language, sexual situations, and violence. It is intended only for mature audiences.
Finally, show with the balls to call it like it is. Rated R Safety Show on Safety FM.
Countdown to audio torture.
The Rated R Safety Show starts in 3, 2, 1.
Let the eardrum pain begin.
Forget the corporate bullshit. This is the Rated R Safety Show with your host, Dr. It doesn't matter who the host is.
Oh, you know it. You know it. I know it. We both care about it. Not really. So there you go. Anyways, today is Thursday, August the 18th of 2022, day 230th of the year, and only 135 days left to go. Yes, that is the case. That is the equation. That is what is going on. So anyway, so there you go. What do you think? I mean, it is the countdown to extinction. Oh, hold on. That's a song. So there you go. That's what's going on. Fun times. Anyways, we are broadcasting live from the Safety FM studios in Orlando, Florida, and coming across the multiverse known as Safety FM. And we are hanging out with our friends and colleagues at the other place.
You're being infiltrated. Radio Big.
Okay, yes, Radio Big.fm, as we are doing everything and moving and grooving and all that kind of fun stuff as we are talking. So anyways, let's start getting right into it. Let me tell you what's going on today. We're going to talk a little bit about what's going on in safety and the news and safety and all that kind of fun stuff, so you don't have to worry about that. If you want to interact with the show, it's an easy process to do so. All you have to do is go to callinradio.com. That is callinradio.com. That will get everything moving and grooving, and we will get everything rolling as we are hanging and banging and doing all the fun stuff that we get to do. So you don't have to worry about that aspect because we will take care of you. We will do the things that need to be done and all that kind of fun stuff as well. Anyways, let's start talking about everything that is going on, and let's get into that world of the stuff that we talk about.
Here is what was trending. Rated R Safety Show.
Okay, so going into the trends right away. Hashtag Happy Birthday Donnie was trending on Wednesday as fans wish Donnie Wahlberg a happy birthday. Also, in honor of National Nonprofit Day, Twitter users were spotlighted several nonprofit organizations. Also, Liz Cheney was trending on Wednesday after the Wyoming congresswoman said that she is considering running for president after losing her party's primary election on Tuesday. And then, last but not least, Jenna Ortega landed on Twitter's top 10 trends after the new trailer of Tim Burton's Netflix Wednesday series dropped. We can talk a little bit more about that if you're so inclined to do so. So there you go. A lot of stuff going on right there as we are talking. So what do you think? That's going to be some interesting stuff as it will go forward and move on. So a lot of stuff going on inside of the news today. So I think that we should probably get moving and grooving right away in regards of talking about some of the stuff that is going on out there, just to get us kind of copacetic in regards of everything that's happening. What do you think there? Do you think that we should just start talking and moving, or do you think we should sit back and linger a little bit more? I never know what to do around here. I just know that I'm supposed to do some stuff, so maybe we should start doing it right now.
Here is the news on the Rated R Safety Show.
NBC News Radio, I'm Michael Kastner. Former Vice President Mike Pence says he would consider testifying before the House committee investigating the Capitol riot.
Any invitation to be directed to me, I would have to reflect on the unique role that I was serving in as Vice President.
Pence said it would be unprecedented for a vice president to testify in front of a congressional committee. He made the remark in response to a question during a breakfast event in New Hampshire on Wednesday. He noted he would have to be asked to testify before the committee. The FBI is still sifting through the Trump documents seized from the Mar-a-Lago estate. FBI agents raided Trump's Florida residence on August 8th and removed 11 sets of classified documents. Law enforcement officials say over a week later, the FBI team is still sifting through the documents and removing those that are not relevant to their investigation. Georgia Governor Brian Kemp is filing a motion to delay a subpoena for his testimony in front of a grand jury. Trey Thomas reports.
It's part of an ongoing criminal investigation into former President Trump's efforts to overturn 2020 election results in Fulton County. Kemp's office is asking a judge to allow the governor to testify after the upcoming November election. He's currently slated to speak before the special grand jury on today. I'm Trey Thomas.
The CDC is admitting that it failed in its response to COVID-19. CDC Director Rochelle Walensky slammed her agency's public guidance during the pandemic, calling it confusing and overwhelming, while also calling for an overhaul.
The agency had been slammed as slow to respond during COVID, also facing backlash after issuing guidance that seemed confusing. The sweeping reorganization includes a new executive council, a new equity office, and a more streamlined website.
That's correspondent Gabe Gutierrez. Walensky met with her senior staff to plan out a reorganization for the CDC structure with public health and containing outbreaks top of mind. Michael Kastner, NBC News Radio.
They're good. They're very funny.
They're hilarious. They just be whoever they want to be.
It's just really funny.
Rated R Safety Show.
From Feature Story News in London, I'm Laura Makin-Isherwood. Japan and China say they will increase their bilateral communication amid escalating tensions over the future of Taiwan. India's government appears to have backtracked on plans to resettle Rohingya refugees in Delhi, and more than 40,000 railway workers have walked out in another round of planned strikes across the United Kingdom in a dispute over pay, job losses, and working conditions.
Safety never sounded so terrible.
Rated R Safety Show.
A Los Angeles County firefighter is denying showing graphic photos of Kobe Bryant's remains to colleagues at an awards banquet. Daniel Martindale reports.
Captain Tony Brenda is accused of showing off the photos at an event in February 2020, about a month after the helicopter crash that killed Kobe Bryant, his daughter, and 7 others. On Wednesday, Brenda told a jury he did have a few pictures of the debris field on his phone, but none showed Bryant's remains. Earlier in the trial, the wife of another firefighter testified that she saw Brenda share graphic photos of human remains during the event. She said at one point, Brenda's girlfriend offered to show them to her, but she refused to look. I'm Daniel Martindale.
The U.S. is looking into the case involving a Saudi student who was sentenced to 34 years in prison for Twitter activity. State Department spokesperson Ned Price said exercising freedom of expression should be stood up for.
Freedom of expression is a principle that we stand up for around the world. Anytime, any government, anywhere tramples on such a principle, we speak out and we seek to defend.
A PhD student at the United Kingdom's Leeds University was arrested last year on a trip to Saudi Arabia, allegedly for activity critical of the Saudi government. The court also ruled that her phone and Twitter account were to be taken away and deleted. The FDA is moving to make hearing aids available over the counter. Mark Mayfield with more.
In mid-October, adults with mild to moderate hearing loss will be able to buy hearing aids without a prescription online or in stores without having to see a doctor. The FDA used studies that showed about 30 million Americans have hearing loss, but only a fifth can help. Making hearing aids more available could also broaden the market to include less expensive alternatives.
Gas prices are down as the weekend approaches. AAA reports the national average price for a gallon of regular dipped 1 cent to $3.93. I'm Michael Kastner.
More sarcasm than a Mortal Kombat beatdown. Rated
Adopt
R
US Kids
Safety
presents
Show.
What to Expect When You're Expecting. A teenager. Learning the lingo.
Today I'm going to help parents translate teen slang. Now, when a teen says something is on fleek, it's exactly like saying, that's rad. It simply means that something is awesome or cool. Another one is totes. It's exactly like saying, totally, just shorter. As in, I totes love going to the mall with Becca. Another word you might hear is jelly. Jelly is a shorter, better way to say jealous. As in, Chloe, I am like so jelly of your unicorn phone case.
You don't have to speak teen to be a perfect parent. thousands of teens in foster care will think you're, rad just the same. To learn more, visit adoptuskids.org. A public service announcement brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt U.S. Kids, and the Ad Council.
This is the story of a very special woman. In a matter of seconds, she turned herself into a great mathematician or an entrepreneur. Her knowledge was limitless and still is. She could also make monsters disappear, especially those that lurked in the shadows under the bed. Once, this woman put back together a teenage girl's broken heart, which had been shattered in 1,000 pieces, just by giving her a bear hug. She masqueraded as a regular person at work, but as a superhero at home. Everyone knows her as Gabriella. I still call her Mom.
Your hero needs you now, and AARP is here to help. Find the care guides you need to help, complete with tips and resources at aarp.org/caregiving. A public service announcement brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
This portion of the show has been sponsored by Private Internet Access, America's #1 virtual private network, or VPN. Even if you use incognito mode, internet service providers is storing your browser data and many times even selling it. But Private Internet Access, or PIA, can help you. PIA encrypts and reroutes your internet traffic through one of its own servers, hiding your data from your internet service provider or network admin. And with servers in over 75 countries, you can get unrestricted access to geo-blocked content from around the world. PIA comes with easy-to-use apps and browsers extension for all devices, a rock-solid privacy policy, open source security, advanced customization settings, and it was just ranked the fastest VPN in the world by PC Magazine. And if you sign up right now with PIA, you can take advantage of a special deal only for Safety FM listeners. Only by using the following link, you can get the digital privacy for less than $2 a month. Yes, you did hear me correctly, less than $2 a month, and an extra 4 months for free. So that means for only $1.98 a month and 83% off, you can get this service for you right now. That's so much more inexpensive than virtually every other VPN on the market. And if you get it right now, you can take PIA's 30-day risk-free challenge. You can try it out for 30 days, see if you like it, and if not, just return it for a full refund. So just go to safetyfm.com/VPN. That's safetyfm.com/VPN to try out the best VPN on the planet completely risk-free. Now remember, safetyfm.com/VPN.
Here is another bit for our competitors to copy. Rated R Safety Show.
Okay, there you go. 14 minutes past the top of the hour as you and I are hanging out on this lovely Thursday. Yes, it is so lovely that I almost forgot what day of the week it was. So there you go. Anyway, so let's get into it. Let's start talking. Let's start moving. Let's start grooving. And let's take a look around of what the hell is going on. Lolita, the killer whale, may soon be set free. Yeah, for decades, activists have been urging the Miami Aquarium to release the 56-year-old orca who has pulled from the wild in the 1970s, according to The Guardian. There are obvious concerns about releasing an animal that has been in captivity for so long, but the whale researchers of Howard Garrett told Newsweek that Lolita appears to be in good shape. So, I mean, I don't understand. I get it. You want to set somebody free and all that kind of fun stuff. It makes sense to me. But also at the same time, if this killer whale is so accustomed to being fed where somebody else is just giving it to him or it or whatever, you have to start thinking, how easy is that going to be as a transition of things going on into the near future? Think about that for a moment. Anyways, in some other news, real quick, Americans soon will be able to purchase a hearing aid without a prescription. You heard this a little bit earlier, but let's talk about it again. The FDA announced a new regulation that allows for the creation of new class of hearing aids that don't require medical exams. prescriptions, and or other specialties evaluations. The devices mostly are for adults with mild to moderate hearing problems and will be sold over the counter at pharmacies and other retail stores beginning this fall. No word whether insurance will cover the devices or the cost said for the devices. So how do I have a feeling that like Beats, Apple, just to name a few, will actually be the people behind some of these new hearing aids? I mean, I just have a funny feeling that that's going to be some of the KCACs on some of the things that are going on right there.
We at Safety FM are not responsible for what this idiot behind the microphone is saying. He is trying to be entertaining. Rated R Safety Show.
Okay, take a listen to this. NASA's new moon rocket arrived in the launch pad earlier on Wednesday. The 322-foot rocket is scheduled to blast off on August the 29th for the lunar test flight. The first NASA program. So there you go. 3 mannequins covered in sensors, measured radiation and vibration will be inside the capsule atop of the rocket. The plan is for the capsule to fly around the moon in a distant orbit. We're splashing down on the Pacific Ocean. If all goes as planned, the entire flight should last about 6 weeks. Man, and I thought the trips to the store lasted long. A 6-week trip without stopping? I mean, what kind of fun is that? Anyways, some other news. Elon Musk is rumored to be purchasing a Manchester United soccer team. The Tesla CEO has caused quite a stir after tweeting that he wanted to buy the English team on Tuesday. When followers asked if he was serious, Musk said, "No, this is a long-running joke on Twitter. I'm not buying a sports team." So there you go. I mean, at this particular rate, what can you believe? When I always say when people are trying to get you to look one way, look the other, because there is some level of misdirection that more than likely is going on right there. Hey, listen, I'm not picking on the dude. I'm just saying, take a look at what else is going on. If this is being brought up, there must be a reason for it.
Who truly cares what this guy has to say? Who gives a shit? Rated R Safety Show.
Anyways, another American has died at the same Sandals resort where 3 others died earlier this year. According to the Royal Bahamas Police Force, the man who was in his 70s was experiencing COVID-related issues prior to his death. An official cause of death will be noted after an autopsy if it's performed. Many may remember that last May, 3 American tourists died in carbon monoxide poisoning at the resort. Hey, listen, I'm not picking here, but something tells me, I just have a funny feeling that that might not just be the hangout spot for the moment. I'm just saying, give it some thoughts on what you want to do there before you go and hang out. I'm not picking. I'm just saying. Anyways, with that being said, I think it's time to talk about the numbers game. Let's talk about the market beat. Here's from John Smalls.
Here's your market beat minute for Thursday, August 18th, 2022. The S&P 500 pulled back Wednesday due to an increasingly tepid outlook put forth by the retail sector. The latest report to weigh in on the market comes from Target, which missed estimates on top of bottom lines. The bottom line by a very wide margin. The report highlights a growing problem in the retail sector in the form of bloating inventories that spells bad news for earnings and good news for consumers. With inventories at unusually high levels, retailers may be forced to follow in Target's footsteps and enter a new age of deep discounting to move merchandise. The decline in stocks was curbed, however, by the FOMC minutes. The minutes indicate the Fed is ready to hike rates until inflation comes down substantially from its current high levels, but gave no indication of the pace or timing of the hikes. The market is pricing in a 50 basis point hike at the next meeting, but there are still several inflation reports due out before then. You can get the inside track in your inbox at marketbeatminute.com.
Okay, thank you, Johnny Smalls, for that one, letting us know what is going on inside of the world of the market. That information is always important. Anyways, take a listen to this. The Dow was down 158 points on Wednesdays to close to 33,993. The S&P lost about 29 points to close at 4,275, while the Nasdaq lost 164 points to close at 12,938. West Texas Intermediate remains under $90 a barrel at $87, and Brent crude is just over $90 mark at about roughly $93 or so. The national price of a gallon of gas now on Wednesday was $3.94, just for some information purposes right there. Bitcoin tumbled on Wednesday, losing about $563 and trading around $23,294. And then let's talk about some flights real quick. There was 2,253 flights delayed within, into, or out of the U.S. on Wednesday, with 93 such cancellations. So there you go. Anyways, let's talk real quick about what was going on in the charts, because I think that that's important. Let's talk about this. A TikToker by the name of Ryan Haim shared a video on the path of destruction of her toddler after getting on into some leftover chocolate cake. There was an attached troublemaker hashtag and a sleeping toddler hashtag and a cake monster to the video. It has now over 36 million. Yeah, that is million views on what is going on. So let's talk about this one real quick. Have you ever thought about unionization? Have you ever thought and sat back, hey, listen, at the place that I work, it kind of sucks, and I think that we will have better pull if we do everything together. If we come together and decide to move forward to see what we can do and go, that's going to be the better ASCII than anything else. Well, I got something for you. Some California strippers have unionized. Yeah, North Hollywood topless dancers want to become the only unionized strippers in the U.S. Dancers at a topless bar in North Hollywood, California are trying to become the only unionized strippers in the U.S. Guess who has to talk about it? Here's some Daniel Martindale.
This stripper says she and her colleagues have strong support.
We had solidarity from day one. We were demanding safer working conditions here.
The women filed a petition with the National Labor Relations Board on Wednesday, seeking a union recognition election. If the exotic dancers vote to unionize, they would be represented by the Actors Equity Association. That national labor union currently represents more than 51,000 professional actors and stage managers working in live theater. I'm Daniel Martindale.
So what do you think here? Let's talk about that. So if you're able to unionize, or if they're able to unionize, what do you think that kind of effect will have to do other adult-oriented communities across? I'm just asking the question. It will make it some interesting times. That is for sure.
Oops! What did he just say?
We at Safety FM don't always agree with viewpoints of our hosts and guests.
Now back to real safety talk on Safety FM.
Okay, let's talk a little bit more. A man's wanted for a Bronx sucker punch arrest. Police say that they have arrested a man who was wanted for sucker punching and critically injuring a man outside of the Bronx restaurant on Friday. Noam Layden has some more info.
55-year-old Van Phu Bui had eaten dinner at the same restaurant as his victim. He had no interaction with him there, did not know him, but followed him out of the Bronx Mexican eatery Friday night and then punched him in the head hard when he was looking the other way. Neighbors say random attacks like this one have them on edge.
It's distressing to think that is happening in a community.
The victim, who hit the sidewalk hard, is still in the hospital today in critical condition with bleeding to the brain. Noam Layden, NBC News Radio, New York.
Okay, hold on. So it's disconcerting that it happened in a community. Where else would it have happened? I mean, I'm just kind of confused on that one. It is New York, right? I mean, I don't know. Anyways, Mayor Adams to address outdoor dining shed concerns. The New York City Mayor Eric Adams is expected to address the concerns about outside dining today. Scott Pringle has more info.
Officials say outdoor dining structures were critical in helping the struggling restaurant industry through the coronavirus pandemic, but residents are complaining about quality of life issues. Some are arguing that since the pandemic-related restrictions have eased, the outdoor dining shed should go. They say the sheds are an eyesore, they attract rodents and the homeless, and take up parking spots and lead to more noise. Mayor Adams supports outdoor dining, but he understands some of the concerns. He's in Brooklyn today to talk about the issues. Scott Pringle, NBC News Radio, New York.
Okay, thank you very much for that one, letting us know what is going on inside of that neck of the woods. So take a listen to this. Startup airline launches flight to Germany. Norse Atlantic is adding Fort Lauderdale to Berlin flights. Natalie Rodriguez has some more info.
Startup airline Norse will start new round-trip flights to Berlin from Fort Lauderdale December 7th. The Fort Lauderdale-based airline has one-way fares as low as $152. Norse Atlantic started its Fort Lauderdale service in June with nonstop flights to Oslo, Norway, aboard Boeing 787 Dreamliners. Service to Germany, however, started this week from New York's JFK International and Los Angeles International airports. Natalie Rodriguez, Miami.
Okay, so let's talk about that. So if it's in the $100 mark to go from here to Germany or Fort Lauderdale to say, what are we talking here? Because I just don't want to get all of a sudden book an airline and say, hey, I am going to go take this flight, and then come to find out that, okay, it's not really the flight. You are paying for the airspace because we haven't charged you for the seat. We haven't charged you for the luggage. We haven't charged you for your whatever personal item you want to bring on. And also, we haven't charged you for the air that you're breathing on our airline.
Always replicated, but never duplicated. Rated R Safety Show.
Okay, there you go. Some stuff going on right there. Anyways, Murphy is fighting back against the NYC's congested pricing plan. New Jersey Governor Phil Murray is fighting back against the MTA's congestion pricing plan for South 60th Street in Manhattan. Scott Pringle has some more info.
Governor Murphy says there is no way, no how congestion pricing will happen with the double taxation of New Jersey commuters, and he says he'll try to stop it.
If we have to, we've got options which I don't want to use, but we can use through the Port Authority.
The head of the MTA says congestion pricing is intended to benefit people who do not drive. It's unclear yet if Jersey drivers tolled using the Hudson River crossings will get any credit toward the congestion pricing toll. Scott Pringle, NBC News Radio, New Jersey.
Okay, thank you, Scott, for that one. Let's get into some other information real quick. An Oklahoma woman is facing felony charges after she barricaded herself in a patrol car and shot at deputies and at civilians.
We got a civilian hit. What the heck? She get out of her cuffs?
Yeah, Rachel Zion Clay was booked on charges of intent to kill, and her bail is set to $1 million. Authorities responded to the scene at a residence on Friday in Bridge Creek, about 30 miles south of Oklahoma City. According to court documents, Clay was detained for erratic behavior after using meth, handcuffed and placed in the back of a car. Video from inside captured her taking off her seatbelt and then escaped the handcuffs and grabbed a rifle through an open partition of the window. The footage showed that Clay fired several shots out of the back of the window at the deputies and the man who called the police. One deputy and civilian were hit, but the injuries were non-life-threatening. She refused to exit for about 3.5 hours until surrendering. A deputy and civilian were shot, who authorities say, there weren't life injuries. Take a listen to this.
Ow! What was that? Oh! Man, Danny, I'm hit right here. Yeah. I'm hit right here too, Danny.
Okay, Grady County Sheriff Office Under Sheriff Gary Brogris, the department is going to make some changes to their operation after the mishandling of Miss Clay.
It's a freak deal. It's one of these probably, I'm not going to say 1 in a million, but, it's one of those deals that, once it happens, then you go back and try to make sure it never happens again.
I have to ask a question here because I'm slightly confused. Pay real close attention to this.
Ow! What was that? Oh! Man, Danny, I'm hit.
So, don't get me wrong. I understand somebody got shot. I'm not saying that that's not the important part. Who the hell put the thematic music on the back of that thing? Let's add a little bit more to this because I think it's important.
We are now video streaming the Rated R Safety Show. I don't know why our host has a face for radio. Rated R Safety Show.
Okay, take a listen to this real quick. The Alabama GOP party apologizes for the KKK Facebook post. A local GOP branch in Alabama is apologizing after posting a logo of their Facebook page that featured the Ku Klux Klan. Trey Thomas has more info.
The Lawrence County Republican Party posted the image on Sunday that showed the red, white, and blue GOP elephant with hooded KKK figures between the elephant's legs. The chairman of the local branch apologized on Monday and said the image was found in a Google search, and they didn't notice the hidden KKK images. He says the images do not represent the views or beliefs of the Lawrence County Republican Party. I'm Trey Thomas.
Wow, talk about a major screw up there. There is no doubt about that one. Anyways, DC Health is now using online dashboard to track and post monkeypox data. Dr. Adam Brown is a physician in the district and says that the dashboard was created at the right time.
I think this is a really important first step. As we get this data, we need to use it to our best ability to make changes in our rollout plan for vaccines.
As of yesterday, the district has confirmed 350 cases. Data shows that 16,000 monkeypox doses have been administered across the city. You can access the dashboard at dchealth.dc.gov. Dr. Adam Brown is the physician there, like I said earlier, and only 21% of the vaccines went to African Americans.
Slightly more than half of people with monkeypox now are non-white.
So there you go. Some stuff going on right there as we are talking. Anyways, it is 31 minutes past the top of the hour. I think we're going to go into that dangerous territory of what we talk about what should be going on.
Here is our main story on the Rated R Safety Show.
Oh, let's talk about it because it's such an important aspect of things that that happen on a day in and day out basis. And I think that sometimes we tend to forget the importance of this. And this is differing points of views. Yes, differing points of views. Sometimes we tend to have a very hard time if we are strong in our beliefs, regardless of what the hell we're talking about, of being able to be open to differing points of views about what is going on inside of the world. Now, listen, take a listen to this real quick. And I'm going to touch on a subject that might be a little risque for this little showy-oey right here. But let's talk about it. Let's talk about the world of politics. Let's talk about the world of things that we don't agree in. So let's say, hypothetical here, that you are a right-wing person and you work with a left-wing person. Do you normally talk about politics? Probably not, because you're probably not going to want to listen to the differing of opinions. Just kind of the way that it goes with most people. But why is it that we are so rushed to go, it is our way or the highway? Why is it that we are so rushed to say, you must see it from my point of view? And there's so many things in life that we take a look at in that same fashion. Now, listen, I'm not trying to be a jerk as I'm referencing this. No, seriously, I'm not trying to be a jerk. But it's one of those things that I look at and I go, why can't we have open and honest conversations about things even if we don't agree with them? Now, listen, I'm going to tell you, I don't agree with everything that the people on the right side of the aisle say. I don't agree with everything that the people on the left side of the aisle say. But I'm willing to take a listen to what they have to say. And sometimes some of the stuff makes sense, and sometimes some of the stuff doesn't make sense. I don't ever want to have that general feeling of cutting someone short just because my initial reaction is, I don't agree with what you have to say. So when I start thinking about this immediately, I start going, what can we do within our lifetime to change that? And this all stems from a conversation that I was having earlier today. Yes, even though it is 7:34 in the morning, I was having a conversation earlier today because I have a friend that's an executive producer on we'll call it a semi-controversial show that airs on YouTube, recently referenced on Bill Maher. And their show has been pulled down from YouTube. And because they had someone who came on and was talking and was giving their point of view of politics, and it was pulled down, and now they have been suspended for 2 weeks. And listen, I understand that these platform providers, the big ones, the social media aspect ones, they kind of control the environment. They kind of say, hey, this is what we want on our platform or what we don't want on their platform. And they can determine what they want. Like, today could be a day that they say, I no longer want the color blue. And automatically that color blue that's behind me will go bye-bye. And that's okay. Those are the things that happen when you play within their own platform. So, like something like we use here that we call it visual radio that we do on safetyfm.com by clicking on visual radio, I can tell you that that platform will not go down because we're running it directly off onto our website, even though we're streaming on different aspects. So as I take a look at this and talking about differing of opinions, what do we do in our work environment to be able to handle those? What do we do inside of the world to be able to listen? Are you willing to listen to others' opinions? Or do you default automatically that, hey, it's not my point of view, so I really don't give two shits on what you have to say? I'm just asking a question here. And I know it becomes difficult for some to talk about this. Do I probably want to talk to you about religion? Do I want to talk to you about politics? Do I want to talk to you about sex? Probably more than likely 3 subject matters we're not going to talk about, and we can probably throw some money in there just to make it a 4th one, just for some uncomfortable aspects of the thing. But think about this real quick. What are the subjects that you are more likely not willing to take a listen to with people overall because of your strong core beliefs? Now, I will flip this back to you. How often has this occurred in the work that you do? Because I ask this because we've had the conversation before about how people want you to be able to talk and interact with them in a corporate environment, but they want to make sure that you have earned your spot. What conversations would put you out of that running? Think about that one, because that's going to be the one for the juju today as we are going.
Oops! What did he just say?
We at Safety FM don't always agree with the viewpoints of our hosts and guests.
Now back to real safety talk on Safety FM.
Don't go anywhere.
You're listening to the home of real safety talk.
You are listening to Safety FM. We'll be right back.
Okay, men. This is your time. Maybe you didn't choose this, but you're here now. You're gonna go out there and be an all-star caregiver. It's up to you. So what are you gonna do? You're gonna go grocery shopping, cook, clean, be there emotionally and physically. You gotta dig deeper. Drive them to physical therapy, doctor's appointments. Don't you forget about the pharmacy. I know you won't, because that's what caregivers do. Don't give up. Don't ever give up. This is your time to show the world, your family, and yourself that you're tougher than tough. Now go out there and be the best caregiver this world has ever seen. Caregiving is tougher than tough. Find the care guides you need at aarp.org/caregiving. A public service announcement brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
Hi, I'm Danica Patrick and proud aunt. Watching my nieces grow, play, and learn is amazing. But not every child gets to be carefree. 1 in 6 kids in the U.S. are hungry. 1 in 6. That little girl sitting alone at the playground, she can't play like the other kids. She doesn't have the energy because she's hungry. School lunch will be her only meal today. It breaks my heart that this is the reality in our country, but it's something that Feeding America is working to change. Each year, the Feeding America network of food banks rescues billions of pounds of good food that would have gone to waste. This food is then provided to families and children in need. Being a kid should be about using your imagination, learning, and having fun. These children shouldn't have to miss out on simply being a kid because they're hungry. To find out how you can help end childhood hunger in your community, visit feedingamerica.org.
Brought to you by Feeding America and the Ad Council.
Have you ever wanted to start live streaming and were not sure how to do it? You can start live streaming up to 40 social media platforms all at one time for as little as nada. It's going to cost you your time. That is what it's going to cost. You can pre-record, you can live stream, you can do a multitude of things. To find out more information, all you have to do is go to safetyfm.com/one. That's safetyfm.com, ONE.
Is your safety training old, stale, and hacked? Is your safety trainer still preaching a warped version of behavior-based safety? How about safety training that actually addresses your hazards in your workplaces and is not standardized baloney from 25 years ago? Contact the Safety Wars team at safetywars.com or call Jim Posel at 845-269-5772. Remember, if you're receiving this message, you are the solution to unsafe workplaces.
Hey, are you tired of hanging around and talking about safety in a boring kind of format? Well, I got something for you. If you haven't hung out with us yet at safetyfm.com, I'm going to encourage you to do so. Yeah, if you come out to Safety FM, you can come hang out with all kinds of safety professionals. Some are safety professionals, some are just people that are talking about safety. But we want to do it in a format that makes it fun and entertaining. If you're kind of trying to figure out what the FM portion is, well, we're a radio station and also a podcast network. You can come out, hang out, and listen to my show, The Jay Allen Show. You can listen to Todd Conklin with the pre-accident investigation, Blaine J. Hoffman with the Safety Pro, the Hop Nerd, Sam Goodman, just to name a few on what can be found on the station. Different things for different people, trying to bring safety in an entertaining form. SafetyFM.com. Go to the website, download the app, and carry it with you all day long. SafetyFM.com. We'll be waiting for you.
Attention business owners. Are you receiving all the employee tax credits you have coming to you? A tax refund program provided for by the CARES Act of 2020 could be worth thousands. Employee retention tax credits, or ERTCs, are a fully refundable payroll tax. You may be eligible for up to $26,000 per employee per quarter. At Lifetime Advisors, we have a team of experts dedicated to the ERTC program. We work with businesses of all sizes, both big and small, to claim the money that they're entitled to. It's your money, and we can help you get it. Call Lifetime Advisors today at 1-877-851-0005. We'll send you a short questionnaire to see if you qualify. There is no obligation, but this is a limited time program. Don't miss out. Call 1-877-851-0005. That's 1-877-851-0005 to get the ERTC money you have coming to you. Lifetime Advisors.
Okay, there you go. Currently 43 minutes past the top of the hour. This still is the Rated R Safety Show. Right now, this is Where Do You Hide? Nobody knows. This is another song brought to you by Nightcap. This song's readily available on Spotify and iTunes. So there you go. Taking a listen of what is going on there. So there you go. Thank you to Nightcap for allowing us to play this here on the Rated R Safety Show. Okay, let's get back into some of the nonsense that we have going on this show today. But before we get into the nonsense stories, let's talk about the seriousness that is this current subject matter. And let's talk about 988lifeline.org. Let me tell you that 988 is a suicide and crisis lifeline. It is a national network of local crisis centers that provides free and confidential emotional support to people in suicidal crisis or emotional distress 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. in the United States. They are committed to improving crisis services and advancing suicide prevention by empowering individuals, advancing professional and best practices, and building awareness. To find out more information, all you have to do is call 988 here in the United States or go to 9888lifeline.org. That's 988lifeline.org, or you can text the word TALK to 988, and that will get things moving for you. There is no doubt about that as we are talking in that particular regards. Anyways, let's continue talking about some other things that are going on inside of the world here. Faceplant, Facebook, or Facebook Faceplant, however you want to take a look at it. If you watch any show featuring teenagers, you've probably seen some kind of variation of the joke that comes up when Facebook is mentioned. The kids either say no one uses Facebook anymore. What's Facebook? An exaggeration? Sure, but just maybe not by much. According to a new Pew Research Center, which regulates research by tech usage, the favorite social media platform in the U.S. at teens aged 13 to 17 during April to May, and it was used by 95% of responders. And guess what? It's not TikTok. Which is it? Well, definitely it's not Facebook. Pew reports that 95% of teens surveyed used YouTube during the 2-month period. Number 2 was TikTok at 67%. Teens were also asked how often they're using the sites, ranging from never, constantly, or constantly. YouTube is again at the top of the list. For constant use, 19%, and TikTok is number 2 at 16%. 15% of kids reported that using Snapchat constantly, and 10% use Instagram as their social media sites as that they go to. The clear loser here of the survey, well, you guessed it, was Facebook. 7 years ago, it was used by 71% of teens. That number was dropped to 32%. Twitter and Tumblr are also down among teens. So finally, we parents are safe to use Facebook again without worrying that our kids are going to see what we've been up to. Well, if kids aren't using Twitter or Facebook these days, at least you still have YouTube to get their misinformation. That is for sure.
Oops! What did he just say?
We at Safety FM don't always agree with the viewpoints of our hosts and guests.
Now back to real safety talk on Safety FM.
So let's talk about some other things. We normally talk about some health stuff around here, but let's do this right now. Pictures of health is something that we can talk about. Think twice about the granola bar in the morning, because ice cream may be a better option. A new study from Tufts University in Boston has created a food compass, a system that ranks on healthy foods and giving them the nutrition score. But unsurprisingly, whole foods like fruits and vegetables rank highly on the list, with spinach even scoring at a perfect 100. But fans of sweet treats will be thrilled to learn that chocolate ice cream with nuts scored 35 points, while coconuts and chocolate granola bars received 15 points. By the way, frozen yogurt as a treat was cited as healthy alternative to ice cream, and it scored just 23. Grapes can add years to your life and have other health benefits as well, according to research published by the Journal of Foods. The study performed on mice were fed the Western diets with grape supplements found in antioxidants found in grapes that can reduce the risk of Alzheimer's disease, boost the metabolism, and reduce the overall fatty liver disease. It has been determined that grapes could also extend the lives of humans as much as 5 years. Any word if grape Kool-Aid counts. I'm just asking for a friend. Anyways, a new study claims that they have determined how many minutes of exercise per week could help get you to live longer. The research published in the Circulation, the American Heart Association scientific journal, found that people who went above and beyond the minimum guidelines of 150 to 300 minutes of moderate physical per week activity had a lower risk of premature mortality. Research shows that those who work out 2 to 4 times above the moderate physical activity recommendation of 300 to 600 minutes per week saw the most benefits. Those who exercised that much had about 27% lower risk of mortality. Of course, they spent all that extra time at the gym, so does it really count? I mean, I just think it has some, you have to kind of onset to offset, if you know what I'm saying there. Anyways, it is currently 50 minutes past the top of the hour. I think it is time to bring John Smalls back in for him to give us the Motivation Minute.
The Motivation Minute is courtesy of InsuranceChicken.com. Today's quote was submitted by Shannon. Wayne Gretzky said, "Procrastination is one of the most common and deadliest of diseases, and its toll on success and happiness is heavy." I can speak to this one for sure. I am a bit of a procrastinator myself. I don't mean to be, but sometimes I overcommit. Then I run short of time, then I fall behind. It's a vicious cycle that can be hard to break. Something I did a while back to help in my situation, I learned to say no. It was hard to do because I love to say yes. But there have been some opportunities that I've turned down along the way. Even though they were great opportunities, I was happy to give those opportunities to someone else. This has been today's Motivation Minute, courtesy of InsuranceChicken.com. They're known for insurance quotes. I'm John Small. Thanks for listening. Your favorite motivational quotes can be submitted for upcoming programs at motivationminute.org.
Your Wellness Minute is brought to you by AlessaMorgan.com. Leptin's main function is to help regulate the long-term balance between your body's food intake and energy expenditure. It helps prevent hunger and regulates energy balance so that your body doesn't trigger a hunger response when it doesn't need more calories. What is leptin resistance? In the same way that people develop insulin resistance, where it takes more insulin to do physiological jobs in the body, people with higher body mass require more leptin to signal the hypothalamus to be satisfied. Another way to explain is that they require more leptin to invert starvation response that the brain has, where alarm bells start going off because it thinks it doesn't have enough body fat. The concept of leptin resistance is still being researched. Specifically, what exactly happens with neurons in circuitry for the brain not to receive the signal. For more information, check out AlessaMorgan.com.
Another pitfall of our society. Rated R Safety Show.
Okay, there you go. 52 minutes past the top of the hour as you and I are hanging out on this lovely Thursday. I hope it's Thursday because I keep on saying that it's Thursday. Then I had my doubt for like half a second. Is it really Thursday? Yes, it is. Anyways, let's continue talking about some other things that are going on inside of the world because I think it is the time to do so. Anyways, no winner for Tuesday night's Mega Million drawing. Friday night's drawing will be for $99 million jackpot or a $56 million cash payout.
You are listening to a radio god. What? This has to be an error. That host is not a radio god. Anyways, this is the Rated R Safety Show on Safety FM.
So I have to mention this because this is making the circumference of the news. Snoop Dogg is releasing his own cereal called Snoop Loops, and I'm not joking as I say this. Made up of different colored whole grain loops and marshmallows, the cereal also contains vitamin D and fiber, according to social media posts announcing the new breakfast. The cereal is the latest edition of Snoop's broadest food line, which also includes oatmeal, grits, pancakes mix, and syrup. And now there hasn't been no infusion of marijuana, as far as we know, in regards of what's in there.
Here is another bit for our competitors to copy. Rated R Safety Show.
Okay, so there you go. That's what's going on right there. Let's continue talking about some other things that are going on inside of this world as we are talking, hanging out, and all that fun stuff that we get to do around here. Anyways, South Carolina ban on most abortions has been temporarily blocked by the state Supreme Court. Take a listen to this.
The court saying it granted the temporary injunction because it can't determine, at least right now, whether the 6-week law is constitutional when measured against the state's constitutional prohibition against unreasonable invasions of privacy. Planned Parenthood had earlier sued on privacy grounds, contesting the measure banning most abortions after a fetal heartbeat can be detected. The ban took effect shortly after the U.S. Supreme Court overturned Roe v. Wade. All this as state lawmakers seek to tighten restrictions even further. I'm Mark Woolsey.
Okay, thank you, Mark, for that one, letting us know what is going on inside of there. Take a listen to this. The FBI is still stifling through the Trump's documents cease at Mar-a-Lago. Mark Mayfield has some more info.
FBI agents raided Donald Trump's Florida residence on August the 8th and removed 11 sets of classified documents, including some that were labeled top secret. Law enforcement officials told NBC News that over a week later, the FBI's filter team is still sifting through the documents and removing those that are not relevant to their investigation. After last week's raid, Trump claimed on his social media platform that the FBI took boxes of privileged attorney-client material, which they knowingly should not have taken. I'm Mark Mayfield.
Okay, thank you very much for that information. Anyways, take a listen to this. Former New York City Mayor Rudy Giuliani spent hours in Atlanta in front of a grand jury investigating efforts to overturn the result of the 2020 elections. NBC's Blaine Alexander reports that the 6 hours of testimony was behind closed doors.
But we do know that it very likely centered around statements that Giuliani made to Georgia lawmakers back in 2020, just on the heels of the presidential election, where he came forth and made a number of false claims and really conspiracy theories about the election here in Georgia.
Giuliani's lawyers have been notified that he's under a microscope in his investigation since the ex-president Donald Trump, president's personal attorney. He's accused of aggressively campaigning to overturn the president's laws. NBC's Blaine Alexander reports that Giuliani himself could face criminal charges,
ranging from racketeering to possible conspiracy charges. Remember, all of this centers around an investigation into the former president's efforts to overturn the election here in Georgia, to meddle in the election.
So there you go. A lot of stuff real quick with that. Anyways, let me tell you this one before we get moving. An Iowa woman is recovering after she was shot by her husband yesterday with a crossbow.
Police say 68-year-old Lillian Dennison was sleeping on a couch in the middle of the night when she was shot with a crossbow. She's expected to be okay. Police found her husband, 68-year-old George Dennison, 9 hours later in the woods. He's facing attempted murder and domestic abuse charges. I'm Sue Danielson.
So you shot somebody while they were sleeping? What the Anyways, that's a weird one. So there you go. Anyways, let's look at some things that happened back on this date. Back in 2020, Joe Biden is formally nominated as the Democratic Party presidential candidate. The nomination came during the second night of his first ever virtual due to COVID-19 convention. So there you go. Anyways, if you're looking at some birthdays for today, let's jump around and take a look at some of those. Andy Samberg turns 44. Christian Slater turns 53. Edward Norton, 53. Robert Redford turns 86 today. If you're looking at some days of the year to celebrate, I have some of those for you. It's National Bad Poetry Day, National Fajita Day, sounds like a fun time, National Mail Order Catalog Day, and National Ice Cream Pie Day. Ice cream pie? What is this? This sounds like fantastic stuff for sure as we are talking. Anyways, if you need a random joke for today, try this. I call my smoke detector Gordon Ramsay because whenever I cook something, it screams at me. If you need a phone starter for today, try this. Admit it. What are you kind of snobby about? What, gyms? Oh, sorry. What was that? Okay. If you need a question